Good morning, third graders. Here we go. We are on lesson 5. We are looking at a number line. So, as you look at this number line, it tells you to think. What is the distance between each tick mark on each number line? What number is indicated by each letter? So when we think about this, when they say tick marks, this is a tick mark, 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 tick mark. So we are going to start from a 0 to 100. And let's look at the tick marks. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We have 10 tick marks that equals to 100. So from these tick marks, think about it. What could we do to make 100 from 10 tick marks? What number could we skip count to make 100? Yay! So whoever said 10, that's great. Think about this. We have a 3-digit number here, okay? So if we take 1-digit number away, we're dealing with what? Tens. Okay, tens. So 10 is a 2-digit number. We have 3, and anything below this is below a 3-digit number. What do we have? We have 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. So 0, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. So now, each one of these things we can identify. A would be what? 10. B would be what? 50. C would be 80. Now, let's take a look here. Now what do we have? We have 1,000, which is a 3-digit number. So if we took a 1-digit minus 1 digit, we would have a 3-digit number, and that would be 100. So if we take a look at this again, this would be what? 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, 700, 800, 900. 0, 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, 700, 800, 900, 1,000. Okay, so each one of those tick marks represent 100. So in between each tick mark is 100. Here to here is 100. Here to here is 100. So everything is raised by the hundreds. So D would be 100. E would be 500. F would be 800. Now, notice the difference between the three. This one started at 0. Notice here, we have a stop sign. We have a stop sign. I'm going to call a stop sign because we're starting at 0, right? Goes all the way across, and you see the arrow. Arrow means it continues all the way across. Now, our third graph, our third number line is, look, we have a number line that has an arrow that keeps going this way. We have a number line that keeps going this way. What that means, it's a continuation. Okay, so now we have 1,000. We have 3,000. Okay, so this is 1,000 and this is 3,000. So let's think to ourselves, halfway in between would be what? 2,000. We got to think about this. We got to use your critical thinking skills here. Okay? You got to use your critical thinking skills here. So even though we know this is 1,000 and over here is 3,000, halfway, it's got to be the halfway mark. If this is 1 and this is 3, this has got to be 2. So it's going to be 2,000. So now the next thing we got to think about is, let's look at the tick mark. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So there's 10 in between. And let's look from 2,000 to 3,000. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And there's 10 again. But if we take a look back here from our previous, we went from 100, we went to 2 digits. 3-digit numbers to a 2-digit number, okay? We went from a 4-digit number to a 3-digit number. Now we got a 3-digit number. What do you think all these little tick marks are going to represent? A 2-digit number. But this is 1,000, 2,000, 3,000. So let's take a look here. So each one of these things would represent 100. 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, 700, 800, 900. Then another 1,000. 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, 700, 800, 900, another 1,000. So I went from a 4-digit number, I downgraded to a 3-digit number to my hundreds. So let's look at G. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I know that's 500, but I know I'm starting from what? 1,000. Okay, 1,000. So from 1,000 to 2,000, each one of these things represent 100, but in order, in numerical order. Okay, so here we go. So let's look at H. So this is 21. This is 2,000, 2,100, 2,200, 2,300. This represents 2,300. 2,400, 2,500, 2,600, 2,700. So I represents 2,500. There'll be 28, 29, 30. 30 hundreds equals 3,000. So we always got to think about that. Okay? That was a hard thing to think about. So by looking at that, what did we learn? We learned that each tick mark is a unit either of tens, hundreds, or thousands. Okay, so let's take a look at this one here. What did we learn? This is plus 10. You know what? Here we go. I'll be plus 10. Plus 10. So we keep adding tens to this number line all the way to 100. So the distance between each tick mark is the blue number line is 10. Okay, good. All right. So B would be 50, C would be 80. Think about this. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100. Now you kind of got a clue. Now let's take a look at the next one. 50 is halfway between 0 and 100. We know that. That's B. That's the number B. 0 to 100 is B. Okay? So, we know the increments of our tick marks is worth 10. Okay? So now, let's take a look at the next one. Look at here. It gives you already an advantage. It says plus 100. So if this is 100, that's 1. What do you think the next one? 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, 700, 800, 900, and to 1,000. So the distance between each tick mark of the green number line is what? We know. Give it to us. It's what? It's 100. Okay. How many increments of 100s are there between 0 and there? There's 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. So there's 10. There's 10. All right. So now let's answer the next question. Blank is the halfway between a 0 and 1,000. What's halfway? Really? There's this and this. We can visually see this is going to be what? 500. Okay, good. So now, let's increase this. So now, notice this. This is from 0 to 1,000, and this was 0 to 100. Our next one, look at our number line. We don't have no zero values. It goes left to right. Remember, the arrow says this is continuous that way. This arrow, it says continuous this way. But if we know the tick marks and the values between each one of them, right? So let's start from here. There's 1,000 and there's 3,000, right? And we know in between is what? 2,000. You can't understand that. But let's look at the tick mark. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So each one of these is worth what? 100. Okay, 100. Pay attention to that, okay? So the distance between each tick marks of the red number line is what? We just guessed it. 100. So blank is the halfway between 1,000 and 2,000. That should be easy right here. Halfway. What number is that? 2,000. Awesome job. So now, let's do our questions here. Okay, so look at your number values. Do you see zeros? Do you see the stop sign? No, there's no stop sign. That means this number line is continuous. I know this number line starts at 300 all the way to 500, and I know the midway point is going to be what? 400. Okay, now I got to tell myself, what are the tick marks in between? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So if these are hundreds, what do you think these values are? They are tens. Tens. So it says, what are the numbers indicated by each of the letter value? So let's start with A. Equals, if I start with 300, I know there's a 3. So how many tens? 1, 2. That makes what? 20. Now let's look at B. I'm still at 300. That's my first number. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That means there's 5 tens. Now let's look at C. Okay, C is at 400. We already know. We know that each in between here is 10. 10 tick marks, okay? There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 5 tick marks, and we're starting with what? 400. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 5 tens. So that's 450. And D would be what? 2 more tens, which would make what? 475. So that's for question A. Then it says, which number is the greatest? So out of A, B, and C, which is the greatest? Remember, the greatest means the biggest number, which is going to be what? D, which is going to be what? 470. Now C says, which is the least? Remember, least is the smallest, which is A. What is A? 320. So that's how you answer those questions. So you're comparing numbers between the largest and the smallest. Either you're putting them in order, or you're defining. So right now we are defining them on the number line. So let's look at number 2. Number 2 will be my last one, and we'll finish this video. So I look at my arrow. I got arrows on both sides. That means what? It continues to the right and it continues to the left. But what I need to realize is, what are my tick mark values? This is 4,000, and this is 6,000, and in between is 5,000. So I know that in between there's 1,000, right? So we got to drop one value down. So if these are 4-digit numbers, then these are guys are going to be 3-digit numbers, which would be what? 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 600, 700, 800, 900, 1,000. So on A, what are the indicated by each letter E, F, G, and H? So I already know that from here to here is worth 1,000. From here to here is worth 1,000. But in between, I went from a 4-digit number to a 3-digit number is to hundreds, okay? But I can't forget my 4-digit number. So 1, 2, 3, 4. That means this is 400. But I can't forget what its value is. It's 4,000. Now, that's 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 is what F is. So I'm going to put F here is 4,900. So each one of these tick marks is worth 100. Here, now I got to go 5,000. I know I got to be 5,000. 100, 200, 300, 400. That's 400. 500, 600, 700, 800, 900. And I know this is 5,900. You see? So all we're doing is we're going to understand the values of the digits on a number line, okay? That's all. So that concludes our lesson for today.